in order to maintain a sensible work-life balance. And when I was getting my notes together for it in the morning, and then once I'd started the session, I realised there's just so much stuff, absolutely so much stuff to try and squeeze in, which is why I've decided to do it over 2 sessions now. Today we're going to be thinking about kind of like the health implications, health, lifestyle, well-being sacrifices. And again, I just want to say from the beginning that the reason why I'm directing this at women is for 2 reasons. First of all, because my client base is women. That's who I work with. That's what my social network is. Largely made up of women and mothers, and so that's my point of view. That's my perspective. And secondly, because it is my firm belief that of the clients that I work with, of my friends, of my professional network, my social network, I reckon 80% of women do 80% of the heavy lifting within the home. That's regarding obviously domestic chores, childcare arrangements, and everything else in between. So it's a pretty sweeping statement, but I'm kind of sitting with it, to be honest with you, and I'm going with it. I've had lots and lots of comments. I've had lots of messages that I've received from women who said that Monday's session really hit the nail on the head for them. And sometimes we just need to be realistic. It's not about, nothing that I ever talk about. When I'm talking about this kind of stuff, I'm never ever doing it from the point of view to shame men. I don't agree with shaming men. It's not my style. It's not what I'm about. We are all individuals. As individuals, we are unique. In our relationships, we are unique. And in our family lives, we are unique. So I'm not here to start criticising or anything else. I'm just saying it as it is, in my opinion, which is that as women, we bear the weight of home and family life on our shoulders. So Monday we were talking about how we sacrifice our relationships. We sacrifice our relationships with our partner, with our children, in terms of in order to maintain a work-life balance, because if we want to be all in at work, then something has to give at home. And whether that is a time sacrifice or whether that is an emotionally present sacrifice, there is a sacrifice there. And I'm quite happy to share that in my own relationship at home with my husband and with my children. My husband and I are both self-employed. So we are both constantly battling ourselves against the work-life balance, spending time with each other, being emotionally present with each other, me being emotionally available for my children. I'm present time-wise for my children, but I'm often on my phone, responding to messages, creating content. So it's difficult. Like it's certainly not a sob story from my point of view, because I absolutely love my job. I think I've got one of the best jobs in the world and I love it. But I also recognise that I could manage my time better. And my husband and I have to work very hard to make sure that we create physical time for ourselves by making sure that we go out and have coffee or lunch once a week, and that we are eating dinner as a family as often as possible. I aim for 4 times a week, give or take, kind of like his work commitments as well. So it requires effort, okay? But today we're thinking about the sacrifices that we make for our health and our well-being. And again, this is something that I relate to a lot, because I'm always tired, right? And I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If you are a working mother watching this, you will absolutely understand that. Or if you're not a working mother, if you're just, if you are just trying to maintain balance. And I speak to many women who are single and without children, who find the balance of well-being, work-life balance, not over-delivering at work, or rather they are over-delivering at work massively, and they are not looking after themselves. And that is something that comes up. So that there is always, and I don't know what that's, I mean, what is that about? Why do we do that? Why are we are always over-delivering in one area of our life at the detriment to ourselves? And of course, I've got many. I largely know why that is, but it's a shame. It's a shame. I think we are nurtured that we are, as long as everybody else is happy, then it's important that we sacrifice our time, our energy, our aspirations, our dreams, to fulfill the needs of others, and that's a real shame, and that's something that we've got to stop. I can feel like I'm going off on a tangent there. There's a whole other session there, I think, talking about why we shouldn't do that. But what are you sacrificing in terms of your health and well-being? Are you sacrificing your sleep? I mean, sleep is one that comes up massively. Sleep's a really interesting one that comes up because there's two reasons why. There's going to be a few reasons. There's a few reasons why sleep gets sacrificed, and that's because women either are so busy doing everything that there's just simply not enough time in the day, and so therefore by the time they have done everything that they need to do, and they've sat down and had some dinner, it's really late. And they need time to decompress, and so that means that they're watching like Netflix until maybe even the early hours of the morning, and therefore sacrificing their sleep, or they just want some time for themselves at some point, so they go to bed late in order to have that time to decompress, or they're trying to make time for their relationships, for their partner, for their children, and so everything gets moved along. Or they are, and this I'm fairly guilty of this, although I do sleep, I do make sure I protect my sleep pattern greatly. The thirst to learn, the thirst to educate ourselves. I'm so guilty of always wanting to watch a webinar, always joining a challenge or a workshop, or reading or listening to a TED Talk, because I just want to just consume as much energy as information as possible, and so I do that whenever I can, and I have a deal with my children, and I'm often moaning once it gets to 9 o'clock at night, because I say to my girls, like, I don't work after 6 o'clock, and I actually try not to work in the run up to dinner. After school I try not to work at all, but I'm often on my laptop or my phone, just doing things. Don't generally tend to see clients, and then there's a no work rule for mummy after 6 o'clock. But when it gets to 9 o'clock, this is a really great example, when it gets to 9 o'clock they are in bed, or they should be in bed, and so I'm free to start working again, or absorbing information again on my phone or on my laptop. And my eldest will often say, well, I don't want to go to bed, obviously standard, at 9 years old. I don't want to go to bed. You're always working. To which I have to reply to her, I'm not always working. We made a deal that I wasn't going to work after 6 o'clock. 9 o'clock now, you should be in bed. And so therefore 9 o'clock, I am legitimately allowed to start working again, because you should be in bed. And I haven't worked for the last 3 hours so that we can have that time together. And now we have had that time together, which I'm unbelievably grateful and blessed, and I don't resent that in any way at all. But now you need to get your backside into bed so I can now do the things that I want to do, which is winding down and learning at the same time, because that's how I like to spend my downtime, or spending some time with Daddy, which, obviously is a relationship that needs nurturing as well. So, already like my heart rate is starting to raise now. So I'm starting to think of, this is just my domestic situation. What about your domestic situation? And we haven't even got on to exercise and thinking about how we make time to exercise. This is another one that I'm just sharing my life with you today. Another one that I was talking about in my group a couple of weeks ago about the importance of exercising. So I've told you now that the importance for me of spending time with my children after 6 o'clock, and that's really important for me. That's a real value point for me that is a non-negotiable. So that means that I fit all of my client work into school hours so that I have time for my children in the evening. But then if I want to go to the gym or if I want to join an exercise class, then I don't want to do it during my work days because my work days is already condensed as it is, and I don't want it to interrupt my family time because that's really precious to me and that's really non-negotiable. So I either end up having to get up before everybody gets up in the morning to exercise, which I do, or it falls by the wayside, which it did over the summer holidays because I was enjoying not having to get up on the school run and just being a bit of a lazy toad, to be honest with you. So exercise is another thing that we compromise or sacrifice. And I know loads of women who just don't have the time or energy to fulfill it. So what have I missed out? I'll tell you what I've missed out. What about diet? What about how your eating habits? Again, something that I hear my clients talking about all the time. You're tired, so you're making poor food decisions. You're spent at the end of the day, so you have a couple of glasses of wine because you need that couple of glasses of wine to relax. These are all sacrifices that are building into our work-life balance that are not supporting work-life balance. Okay, rubbish eating, bad food choices, alcohol for the wrong reasons. I'm not knocking a glass of wine. I love a glass of wine, but alcohol for the wrong reasons, to switch off or to de-stress, to help you relax. Or again, part of the reason why I drink far less now than I used to is because it ruins my sleep. So, and that's a very, very, very familiar story for menopausal women. Calling you out, ladies, calling myself out, is the reduced sleep, and then how the diet and alcohol then influences or impacts that sleep. So much to cover, so much to talk about. I absolutely love talking about this stuff, as you are probably gathering by now. And letting you know that if you have anything that you want to talk about, anything that you want to work through, to maintain that work-life balance, it doesn't always have to be a sacrifice. This is the thing. It's not about being a sacrifice. You can manage it better. Okay, I'm not saying that there's a magic wand. I'm not saying that there's any fairy dust. But a lot of this is about how we feel about ourselves, what we think we deserve, what we feel we are worth. What are you worthy of? And why are you sacrificing? Why are you sacrificing? Like, some sacrifices have to be made, for men as well as for women. Absolutely, that's for sure. But are you sacrificing too much? And is that an inner issue for you about what you think you are worth? And it probably is, by the way. And that's what I'm all about, and that's where I come alive even more, to help you figure that out. So if you would like to get some help to work through that, drop me a DM. Book a call with me on Calendly. I'll put the link above this video somewhere, and let's have a chat. Okay, hope this has been helpful for you. Have a lovely rest of week, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. Take care. Bye bye.